Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip Committee meeting. Today is May 8th, 2023, and we'll call this meeting to order at 7:35 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Dalzell is absent. Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy is absent. Trustee Nava-Esparza?
Here.
Trustee Peretta?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for being here tonight, everybody. Certainly, we always want to be cognizant of folks' time while you're here, especially if you have your time and your attorneys and whatnot done too. So I'd like to go out of order with tonight's agenda, and certainly I want to introduce you, and we can take care of business, and you feel free to leave after we're done, unless you really are into committee meetings, be my guest and stuff. But thank you for being here. I'm sorry we're a little short. I know some of the trustees called me, and they're working out of town, and so thank you, trustees, for being here, so we have a quorum, too, at the same time. So let's start with closest to the top there. Economic Development. Trustee Nava-Esparza, could you please introduce the team from Beau Chateau, please?
Thank you, Mayor. I have under my committee the presentation by Luis Vasquez of Beau Chateau, requesting a 7C 5-year tax incentive for the property he purchased at 11501 South Cicero Avenue.
Thank you. So just to give everybody a quick, and ladies and gentlemen, we actually, we YouTube all of our meetings here. The camera's on us, not on you folks. You guys look great. You know, it's just, we do, if you need to refer back to these meetings for any reason, they are available on our website or on YouTube starting tomorrow afternoon if you had to go back to this for any reason. For the benefit of the public that's watching this, a 7C basically is a tax incentive that it's an agreement between the village and Cook County. It protects projects which qualify for a 7C incentive receive a reduced assessment level of 10% of the fair market value for the first 3 years, 15% in the fourth year, and 20% in the fifth year. So basically, it's a 5-year assistance for someone to bring in a business. And without this incentive, a commercial property would normally be assessed at about 25% of its market value. Structures that have been vacant and unused for at least 12 months, 12 continuous months, qualify for this type of an incentive. In this case, we've had a banquet hall at the corner of 115th and Cicero that's been vacant for at least a year and a half that I can recall. And fortunately, we've got some new investors that invested in this property. And today I had the pleasure of meeting Luis Vasquez and his brother. Thank you, gentlemen, for investing in that property. And if you would please, if you want to take the microphone or whoever wants to speak on your behalf, just let us know what you plan to do with the property for this tax incentive. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Luis Vasquez. I'm here to represent TBB LLC, which stands to the Vasquez brothers. Here's my brother right next to me. He's my business partner. Just quickly, our background is we're both carpenters by trade. We're the union carpenters and got into construction, but also we were passionate about developing properties like this one. We like to see the value in properties like this, so when this property was placed under auction, we were watching it, and we thought, what a waste of property being auctioned like that and not appreciate what it's worth. Luckily, we were able to get in contact with the seller to negotiate it off the auction. Our biggest enemy was the clock and him, because he wanted to reopen, and we wanted the property so bad. So we had to push to purchase the property and then seek for the 7C. And normally happens the other way around, but we truly believe that we can bring value to the township. I know I gave you guys, when I sent this to print, I had 11 by 17 without noticing, but they had to be folded. We're projecting about 15 total construction jobs, 20 permanent jobs with 40 hours a week, 44 part-time jobs with minimum 24 hours a week. It's going to be about $1.6 million in payroll once the building is fully stabilized. and that will take about 2 years to 3 years to be at the maximum capacity that we wanted to do. It takes time to book enough banquets, and our business plans are always figure at 70% capacity. Hopefully, we get 100%. It's going to be more than 83,000 hours worked at that facility. That's what we're projecting. About $184,000 in payroll taxes collected for unemployment, FICA, FUTA, SUTA. $625,000 in purchases in food and beverage, which generate about $64,000 in sales taxes. $84,000 in sales taxes will be generated for a full year of any events. And potentially, we're hoping to receive 66,000 guests a year for this facility. In multiple slides, I just wanted to prove that the property is still not fully stable. We need to stabilize it. And we wanted to be open on some of the pages where reflect the equity. We had to put our own money along with the loan. And we're also showing our startup cost to buy supplies and additional furniture that we had to invest in it. 6 months of utilities, maintenance and supplies, and food and beverage. It's going to add up about $1.6 million in the next 12 months, that without knowing if someone is going to walk in to book a banquet. But we're really hopeful that with our marketing, we're able to attract the same customers that for 45 years they've been coming to this venue. Then in other slides, we're showing I will call it minor construction repairs. Minor, that's just to upkeep the property. Mostly, it's almost 12 acres, so we have to do a landscaping work. It's been over a year, and we need to restripe the asphalt and seal it, and just work on the garden. The garden is the most attractive part of this banquet, so we're going to put a lot of time and effort to those areas. Like I said, I have some potential payroll of 60 new employees that we're planning to hire. It has a position. The hourly rate is going to be competitive to any one of our kind. And we have one slide showing how the big box stores hire versus us. And per square footage, we're using the same amount of employees with better salaries, like $2,000 more per year. And I'm sorry, I forgot to put numbers on the slides, but there is a slide that shows comparing us to Walmart. I gotta find it. I know it's there. Did I get the one that I didn't get it? So typically, Walmart builds facilities from 82,000 square feet to 38,000 square feet, and based on the employees they hire, in every 600 square foot, they hire one employee. We're 533 square foot per employee, and our base salary per year is higher, almost $6,000 than what Walmart will hire or Home Depot. So we're not competing with them. We're just trying to show that we're a local company and trying to bring something good to the community. And for that, I open for any questions you guys may have.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Go ahead.
You answered one of my questions, just in regards to the footprint, and I did see that you put the square footage, but then I didn't know it was 12 acres of property. So it's a big footprint. So I know that myself, I'm excited to see interest and to restore it to its, I guess, previous use. So, and what experience, how many sites do you have, or banquet facilities have you managed before, or just to give us kind of like a little bit of a history?
So we purchased a property called Red Barrel Restaurant on Archer Avenue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we purchased that one in 2017.
I've been there.
Yes? Okay. We stabilized it. It was abandoned for 3 years. We seek for the 7C on that place, and we put 20 people to work. And so far, it's been good. And that facility caused an overflow to purchase another property, which is called Bella Luna Banquets on Pulaski Avenue. And again, we invested during the pandemic. Successfully, we've been able to stabilize it, and it's causing an overflow that led us to Chateau.
Okay, that's great. I've been to the facility, and it's true, whenever we try to find parking, there's none there. So it's a good
Working on
thing.
that.
No, it's a good thing. And then I did reference, as the mayor provided an overview of the Cook County description of the 7C, and it does seem that you do meet the criteria, given that it's a substantial rehabilitation and then reoccupancy of abandoned commercial property. So thank you for the presentation and the detailed packet that you provided.
Thank you.
Now, I know you and I have had a lot of conversations about this, and certainly, I know you said, you were telling me before the meeting, tomorrow, building department's going to meet with you, and go through it tomorrow, fire prevention and all that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. No, Luis, certainly we welcome the opportunity. This is only a 5-year agreement. Sometimes you got 12-year agreements that can seem daunting to the board, but we appreciate the fact that this little bit of help should be enough to help you folks get this thing going real well then, too. So, no, I'm certainly in support of. Trustee McLaurin, any questions on your side? What I would like to ask trustees, if to get a consensus, if we'd like to move forward with this idea, I want to have something I can give to our attorney that he can draft an ordinance for that then, too. Could you take a consensus, please, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Dalzell is absent. Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Excuse me. Trustee Murphy is absent. Trustee Navas Barza?
Yes.
Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
You have your quorum. I'm sorry, consensus.
Right. So, Mr. Vasquez, I'll let our attorney know that we do have an affirmative consensus to move forward with this. I'll speak to him tomorrow, and we'll get this taken care of. I'll try and, I'm not sure on the exact date yet, but I'll send you an email tomorrow. I'll let you know. But we'll meet again next week at a board setting, and if because he just wanted me to find out if the board's okay with this and everything. And if everything's good to go, I'll try and put this on the agenda next week for approval and get you folks going then, too, okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks for coming out tonight, too. I know, actually, I'll be honest with you, the presentation you put together was excellent. You guys have pictures and costs and everything else. The analysis here is great. So, I mean, sometimes some of these things you have to look through and kind of fish a little bit and stuff yet, too. But, no, thank you very much. A great presentation here yet, too.
Yeah, no, great amount of information provided. We really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. We just wanted to be transparent.
No worries. You need anything, please let us know. Nice meeting you, too, Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next on your agendas, we had under planning and zoning and licenses was, there's a party here for item number 2 for the industrial property at 120th Street. Who's on that? Is it
That would be me.
you? Go ahead, Trustee McLaurin.
This would be case number 2023-03-S-400, which is I-1 Industrial to I-1 Industrial Special Use for truck repair at 4617 West 120th Street in Alsip, and I-1 Industrial to I-1 Industrial Special Use for truck parking only at 4601 West 120th Street in Alsip. Public hearing was held on Wednesday, May 3rd, with a vote of 6-0 in favor of.
So again, trustees, we had a packet here supplied by Quality Truck Repair Corporation. And did anybody wish to speak on this? Sir, go ahead.
Sir, my name is David Lawlem here on behalf of Quality Truck Repair, and the owners are here as well. I'm their business consultant.
Okay.
And we are here requesting a special use permit for their existing business. They've been in the village since 2019, operating under a special use already on 120th. And what they are looking to do is acquire the building adjacent to them, and as well from one property owner, and then a 1-acre parcel to the east of them from a different property. That's from Enterprise, and that's a lot there. And the intention here is to expand their business, continue to grow within the village. Right now, they're renting parking over in Marionette Park, and there's a lot of traffic up and down 120th as they have to shuttle trucks back and forth from the remote parking to work on them. They also, because they don't have a lot of office space in their existing location, they have remote workers that are officing out of Lombard as opposed to here. So this will allow them to consolidate and grow their operations here in Alsip. They'll be able to bring employees all under one roof. They'll be able to have their parking right next door to their shop, so they won't have to be traveling back and forth up and down the street. And it'll also they're going to improve the property. They're going to put up a permanent fence, add landscaping. They're going to add lighting and security and things like that, and just going to continue to grow the business that they have. And again, this is not for public repairs. This is to support their own business.
Okay, thank you. So, again, the great layout that we're looking at here then, too. So on 120th Street, actually, I am familiar, so the brick building that's on here, is that your existing building right now?
No, the building that's on there is the Elite Transmission Building.
Gotcha, okay.
And then, so to the west, they are in the end unit of the multi-tenant building to the west. So they are renting 2,500 square feet now in a multi-tenant building. This building that they're purchasing is 6,000 square feet.
So the parking that's going to be, and I'm familiar with this, in fact, I just had my wife's car fixed over at Elite, so I know exactly where that lot's at, right next door. But these lots, these 18 slots here, parking spots rather, at the end of the block, are these going to be for your trucks, or are this independent truckers, or what?
No, this is only in the support of their operation.
Your trucks, very good, okay.
100% theirs.
Okay.
This is not to rent spots to other people.
Yeah, because I had a conversation the other day with an existing business that is looking to grow on another side of town, and they were looking to help out like independent truckers. And I told them right out, I says, as much as we love the business, the investment, and everything else, but we get nothing for that. You know, I mean, and when you have all these independent trucks, and I'm actually looking at some business models right now. There's not a lot around here, but even out of Canada, where there might be a 15 or 20% parking fee, that kind of thing, on top of wherever they do. But I says, we haven't implemented anything yet, but I am looking at something like that. So if these are for your trucks, that's great. You know, it's not imposing, and it's certainly supporting the business and stuff then, too. And then I know we actually were interested way back when. There used to be a garage that stood there for a bus company. That was going to be our public work building there. It turned out the roof wasn't tall enough, and they took it down and stuff then, too. But it's a great property. It really is. It's the end of a dead-end street down there yet, too, so it's a great spot. So you're going to have 18 parking stalls for your trucks, and just two bays for servicing the trucks then, too?
Correct, but
Okay.
we're not abandoning the small one. We're going to keep that. So
The existing building you have to the
we're going to
west?
lease there. We'll keep it there, so we'll essentially have 3 bays of operations.
Gotcha, okay. And again, I was, as you were speaking, I was kind of breezing through with the services that you offer and the proposed transaction advantages. You got a 6,000 square foot building compared to the current 2,500 square feet. So this is, it's going to be 3 times the size of what you have now. And then certainly that lot at the back is going to help you out, too, with staging trucks, because you got no place to put those right now and stuff then, too. Hire an additional 2 to 4 mechanics, remodeling the offices and the facility and whatnot, eliminating the street parking, which we have ordinances on that, too, so I can understand where you have a problem with that then. We had some issues over on the west side of town where there were some truck companies, like mechanics, that didn't have enough room, and they're dropping trailers in front of everybody else's business. They're like, no, you can't do that and stuff, then, too. So, trustees, did you have any questions for this party?
No, I think everything looks great. They definitely utilized all their space efficiently, and thank you for investing in Alsip.
Yeah, this is certainly this is sizable, and I know I've met with the realtor a few times that represents Enterprise, and once they remodeled their business per se, they didn't need that property anyway, so it's a great spot to utilize and stuff then too. With something like this, there was no expense involved in something like this, so I don't need any kind of consensus, everyone, but we can, we can put this on the agenda for next week, asking for approval on this to keep it moving then too. And I think it's certainly favorable when you get a 6-0 recommendation from the Plan Commission for this is always a great thing too. So I don't know if there's any opposition to this. It doesn't sound like it, but good luck with that, with your application, and certainly we'll put this on the agenda next week for an approval, okay? All right, thank you very much for coming out, folks, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, did anybody else have any other questions? Trustee McLaurin, did you have some?
No,
Sorry.
I'm good.
No.
Okay. All right, thanks, folks. Okay. All right, we'll get back to our regular agenda, starting with reports, starting with mine. A couple of quick reminders. This coming Saturday, we're going to have the village-wide cleanup day that goes from 9 a.m. till noon. Please come out and join us if you're available to clean up certain areas in the village. Seems like most of the garbage around here, every time I see it, it's near major intersections. Everybody wants to be comfortable pulling up to the light and throwing the old can out the window or whatever. So if you're available to help, please do. Next Monday night, we're going to have our student government night. And students are going to be here about 6:30. We'll have some pizza with them. If you'd like to join us for some pizza, trustees, please stop in. And we're going to do an overview of what's expected on the agenda. We're going to have the attorney re-swear in the trustees that from the consolidated election last month. And then we're going to have, I'll let everybody else do their reports. So we have a promotion of a sergeant that night, and I think we have to offer the off. I'm not sure if she's going to be here with one of the commissioners, the police commissioner. Okay, we'll find out. And anyway, it's going to be a busy night, so we'll try and get through it as quickly as we can. First on my agenda this evening was a request to hire a new Alsip finance director, and I'll have that on the village board meeting agenda next week as well, pending a health and background screening, as the new candidate will be available to start work on May 22nd.
Do we need to approve the salary ordinance that night as well?
I'll have that ready for you as well, yes. And nothing's changed. I spoke to everybody in executive session last week about this. And
Yeah, no, it's just the last one we passed has the salary at 0, so we have to create a new line.
Oh, exactly. No, I've got that. Thank you. And then I wanted to ask that we request to extend the contract with GovHR for a period of 30 days to support the transition of the new finance director while they qualify and hire a new staff accountant and finance associate, maybe, if we can get one. We did start advertising last week for a finance associate, and HR is qualifying them right now, and actually working with the contractors to do the same. We're not a staff accountant. I'd like to have the new finance director do that, but at least get an associate up there, because the contractors are looking for a third set of hands and stuff then, too. I didn't want to keep hiring more contractors. Let's get somebody in there if that's what we're going to do. Okay. Any questions on any of that, trustees? Okay, thank you. We'll go to the clerk's report. Clerk Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor. I have the presentation of the May 1st, 2023 board meeting minutes and the presentation of the April 2023 FOIA report, and that is all I had, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We don't have an engineer this evening, and we don't have an audience, unfortunately. So we'll go to our standing committee reports. Finance and IT, Trustee McLaurin.
I will have the usual list of payroll and accounts payable for approval next week, and that's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll go to our fire committee.
There's nobody here on that committee.
Really?
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead, Trustee Navis first, actually.
Okay. I have the discussion to advertise to bid to replace the current ladder truck. Did you want to speak on that first, Chief?
You want to read all four, and we'll just...
All right. I just wanted to know how you wanted to tackle it. Okay.
Yeah.
The discussion to hire part-time fire inspectors to perform annual fire inspections on days when no firefighters sign up for inspections. Item number 3, discussion of appointing an interim administrative assistant. Chief would like to discuss the appointing of a temporary administrative assistant.
Excuse me, one second. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just told the chief I didn't want to, because we can speak to about a particular employee. I don't want to use any names. So we'll do this in executive session.
Okay, then I'll omit that
Yes.
item. Item 4, update on fire engine on order. Chief would bring up the board up to date on the fire engine that is in order.
All right, so I'm kind of go out of order. I figure I'd do the simplest to the most difficult, and then the last one will be discussed in closed session. So first one, update on the fire engine. So I kind of knew this was coming a couple weeks ago, and I did speak to the mayor about it. Our fire engine that we ordered from Seagrave last year sometime, it is scheduled to be starting built soon. However, the price has gone up, which we've seen with all the other manufacturers. So we did receive a letter Friday when I was out of town. That's in your packet, so it's on the top page. So the engine's gone up $103,000 since we ordered it last year. That is due to material. That is due to labor, and we've seen that just with our CBAs over the last year, what we've had to do with labor, and everybody's pretty much doing the same thing at this time. To hire people, to keep people, and just the cost of material and the labor to make that material also has gone up exponentially across industry. I know Crestwood took delivery of their 2 new engines last year in August, and I believe their cost went up $170,000 just for theirs as well. So every manufacturer is going through this. It's not different than anybody else. It's the world we live in. We saw the price of the ambulance from last year go up $26,000 or $32,000 or whatever it was to this year. So it's pretty much in line. It's passive costs, just passing their costs on to us. I guess in the next week or so, I'm supposed to have a phone call or a Zoom meeting with one or two gentlemen that are listed in the letter, and they'll speak morely about it as well. So I did talk to our salesman last week. He's the one that gave me forewarning, and then the letter showed up on Thursday when I was out of town. So today's the first day I got to read it. It's the way it is. I know everything's gone up, like I said, and we're going to talk about the ladder truck next, and you'll see that as well. So.
Chief,
yes,
I'd like to review that sales contract. Is there a clause in it that they can just arbitrarily just raise that number $100,000?
I'm not sure. I know Crestwood went through the same thing, and you're pretty much stuck. But I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I know they're doing it to everybody else, and either you raise it or you cancel it, and no matter what, you're paying the same amount of money regardless of who you're going to. If we start all over, you're looking at over 2 years, 2 to 3 years for an engine, and it's going to go up even more by the time you spec one out and order it again. It'll go up even more.
What was the original price on that?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm going to say, I thought it was like around $600,000.
Yeah, $650 or something like that. Maybe I kind of ring a bell. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, so to raise that 15% seems extreme.
But you got to remember, it's not just one thing. It's all the materials are going up. There's some materials for the vehicle. It's the motors. I know just the motor itself went up almost $15,000 from Cummins alone. And then you had the transmission. I mean, just everything. I mean, look what we've been paying for tires. Tires went up, to several grand a tire for a fire engine now. 5 years ago it was $300. So it's just passive costs that they're passing out with materials.
Yeah, and I'm not disputing the argument. I'm just saying it seems like to raise you have a negotiated contract, and to say that, it's enough too. We're ordering things 2 and 3 years ahead of schedule and stuff, and to lock in. It's more than just ordering something, because I know there's a lead time, but there's a reason for that price thing too, that we know it may go up. Let's lock it in now. What's the point? It's like, because in a sense you're not really getting a deal here.
This is unprecedented. I mean, we've seen this, everybody thought, well, when COVID goes away, our world will go back to normal, and it's not even close. And you build 200 or 300 fire trucks a year, and you don't compensate for them costs, you're not going to be in business. And like I said, every manufacturer is going through this right now. It's just not one manufacturer or the other. They're all going through this, whether it's fire apparatus, whether it's ambulances, whether it's police cars. Just think about regular passenger cars, how much they've gone up.
I'd have to agree with Mayor Ryan in regards to the contract. There should be language there that would either confirm that they can increase the price or not, because then what incentive do you have to lock in?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and I know it's apples and oranges a little bit, but if you were buying a new home and you signed up for a $500,000 house, they can't come back and hit you for another $50,000 or $100,000 for that same house. And I mean, we had an arrangement, we had an agreement here and stuff then too, So I just want to take a look at the contract.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll send it to the attorney to look at.
Yeah. No, send it to me. I'd like to read it. Yeah.
It won't be until Wednesday. I'm out of town tomorrow, so I'll be down in Springfield tomorrow. But Wednesday I'll send it to you.
That's fine. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Number 2 is the ladder truck. So Our ladder truck is due to be replaced in 2026. If you're ordering a new ladder truck today, you're looking anywhere from 36 to 48 months. Again, it's time to start looking. And also, just so you're aware, is the sticker price of a new ladder truck is somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million. Again, it's all material. It's every manufacturer that's about the same. We did put in for Assistance to Firefighter grant through FEMA earlier this year. They only award about 300 vehicles, so it's a long shot that will be eligible for it. But again, even if we get it, it's still another $1 million because they only the max on that grant is $1 million for a ladder truck. We've seen the cost of maintenance over the last couple of years. The ladder truck we have right now is a 2002, so it is 21 years old. We replaced the ladder, rebuilt the ladder, we rebuilt the hydraulics to get us a few more years. So that's why we're able to get to 2026 with it. Again, it's still that old. It goes on in a lot of calls, and it's time to look at getting replaced. When I talked to the mayor about this, I think a couple weeks ago or months ago even, I don't remember which, is just because of everything going on, I know it has to be more generic than I've done in the past. And so.
Chief, you said it goes out on a lot of calls.
Yes.
Are those calls here in Alsip, or are they in other towns that you're taking this ladder truck to?
95% of the calls are in our town. The only town we respond to on auto aid with is Crestwood, and then it does go to Midlothian on the working fires on mutual aid, but those are far and few in between. It responds mostly to calls in Alsip itself.
And when they respond to these calls in Alsip, is the ladder truck actually being used?
It depends on, it's hit or miss. It's not consistent one way or the other.
That's a good question.
So, also, I was wondering, I mean, with most of the larger buildings these days, a sprinkler system is usually required in all these buildings. I mean, I'm looking to see, you know, getting the full potential use of this ladder truck. I mean, it's very expensive. And you say it goes out on a lot of calls, but is it actually being used? Is it actually needed? I mean...
Yes, you got to remember, we have not only large industrial buildings, but we also have probably over 400 three-story apartment buildings that the ladder truck is also used on, not just on industrial buildings.
Okay.
And it's not just used for the vertical height, it's also used for horizontal reach as well. So the original ladder truck that was purchased in 1971 when they built, which is now the DoubleTree, because they had nothing else to reach. It was an 85-foot tower ladder for that building, and then obviously the village started growing up after that. So if we were a small residential community, that'd be one thing, but we're not. We're a very large industrial and residential. We do have a lot of three-story apartment buildings that not necessarily are tall, but also set back from the street as well. Mm-hmm. And again, several businesses as well. And again, they're sprinkled inside, but we've burned a roof off of Grief Brothers 3 times already. We've been on the roof of Mini Mill several times for fires. We just had one there about a month ago. We were up on there for embers that kicked in through their exhaust system. So again, it has a lot of use out of it. So
would we potentially have the same issue that we're having now with this other fire engine if we go ahead and get a quote and all of a sudden they say cost of materials has gone up, now we're going to be paying more than what they had originally quoted us?
It is quite possible. So I can't say it will not happen.
They don't necessarily, they're not in the business of giving or locking in prices is what I'm trying to get at. We were saying that they would go out of business if they were to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Since I've been deputy chief here, we've purchased, well, actually, even when I was a firefighter, I was on the apparatus committee, so all 3 of our current engines are ladder truck in the last 4 ambulances I've been involved with, and until COVID, this was never heard of. So I hate to keep blaming it on COVID, but it's ever since it's been COVID, they've experienced this issue. Yeah. So they're not different than any other manufacturer, not different than any other business. They have to do something with the costs, and unfortunately they have to pass them on to us, otherwise, they'd have a vacant building.
Would you happen to know, I'm sure you would, other communities, other municipalities, how many others have ladder trucks in the surrounding areas?
Crestwood has a ladder truck, they respond to us on Auto 8 as well. Blue Island has a ladder truck, they respond to us on Auto 8 as well. But you cannot guarantee it because, again, what their manpower is, and if they're on another call, they've take passes. Crestwood's done it quite a few times. Crestwood's truck is only 1 year older, or I should say younger than our truck is. Blue Island just got a new ladder truck, but again, they're out on calls, they're not coming out. Also, with our ISO rating, it has to be within a certain distance, and that was identified when we had that manpower study back last year also, of why it's important for us to have a ladder truck in our town.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Anything else?
No, I was just, Chief, I was just looking back at the, I was looking at this earlier, with the consulting study that we had done by Dynamics Consulting, and it was just saying, that with, it had each, let's just say you've got 4 ambulances and 3 engines and a fire, and the ladder truck, and in comparison, like you said, certainly the ladder truck probably goes out the least amount of all the other apparatus. It said here 1,000, it went on 1,000 calls. But then it also, we've got on here that engine 2063 went on 8,200 calls. How many years is that?
That's, I don't know how many 2063s out of Station 1, that's a 2012, and that was responding to all ambulance calls out of Station 1 before we put the squad in place.
Yeah, I was going to say, because let's say in 22, we only had like 36.
We had 4,000 calls last
Yeah.
year. 4,018, I believe.
Yeah, they got 3542 on here, but whatever data they got this, from whatever, it might be off a little bit, but anyway, they had almost 3,600 calls, but that's why I was just looking, like, where do they come up with 8,200 on one engine? But he had 8,200.
It's overtime.
Huh?
It's overtime, whatever the time
That's what I'm
period
saying.
is.
So you had 8,200 on one engine, but the ladder truck went out 1,000 times, so, I'm saying, it's used, but it's not used a whole lot and everything yet, too. It's the age that you're looking at, right?
Correct.
It's what, 20 years old?
20 years old, it's got 38,000 miles on it, almost 4,500 working hours, and over 1,000 hours on the ladder.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. 1,000 hours, the ladders, you've been used 1,000 hours? Okay. Do you guys actually have a gauge on there, or do you just?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got a gauge on there.
Trustees, any other questions for Chief on this?
So those hours then for the use of the ladders also including like trainings, right? You use
Correct. Yeah, it's not just for calls, yes, it's for everything.
And then what's the average, I guess, lifespan of a truck?
20 years,
Okay,
and we're at 21 right now this year.
okay, thank you.
I think one of the biggest things that we're going to have to work on, again, within the budget, this is only listed as $800,000 and not until 2026.
Yeah, we wouldn't expect to take delivery of it till after 2026, or even 2027, the way they're building vehicles right now. So you're not going to see this for 3 to 4 years. I'd love to be able to say, yeah, it'll be done in a year like they used to, but that just doesn't exist anymore. Even ambulances are over 2 years. That's why we had to order one for next year, so it's ready for our next delivery in 2 years.
Well, even more to the point, I think you and I were, Chief, you and I were looking at this recently, too, and Trustee, I brought up the same thing, that we only budgeted $800,000 in 2026 for this, so we're going to have to look at our budgets moving forward to put together another $1.3 million.
That's
to
what I'm
go
saying,
with
yeah,
that.
we can't necessarily say yes to this week, next week, until we get a better idea of what the budgets are going to look like and how we're going to come up with that extra $1.3 million.
And I don't know where that $800,000 came from, but I can tell you it wasn't from me.
Yeah. I mean, certainly like a pumper, maybe, or something
Yeah,
like that, you know.
yeah, you're lucky. Pumpers are almost $1 million now for some pumpers.
And this, Chief, it was actually, this line item, it does say ladder truck, too, just so you know.
Okay.
No, Trustee, I did the same thing. I went right to my budget book to see where we're at with that and stuff, too, so.
All right, that's two of them. Third one, hiring part-time fire inspector. So the second page of your packet is a proposal. So we've been going through this for the last couple of years. So we do hire off-duty firefighters to do annual fire inspections on the 7G rate. Last couple of years has been killing us with overtime because of being short two people, medical injuries, software issues, whatever the case might be. This year we started back up again February 1st. We have as many as 10 firefighters, depending on year, it can vary from time to time. As of now, we've only completed 211 out of the 1,300 inspections because of the same issues. I have one firefighter who just has a new baby, so they're not going to be around as much. I have another firefighter whose wife is expecting in the next couple of weeks, so he's not going to be around much to do inspections. I have one firefighter who's off on injury right now that is one of our inspectors. He will not be available to next year. So we've lost quite a few people, and then with the overtime, a lot of them will take the overtime instead of doing the inspections because it's much more profitable to do 12 hours of time and a half than it is at 4 or 5 hours at 7G rate. So there's been issues over for a while. Last year we tried sending out a couple inspectors on shift that got us agreements with the union and a promise not to do that again. So we're kind of running out of options. Talked to the union president last week, told him what I was going to do. It was on the agenda for today, and he totally understands. He was also an inspector one time and knows that the inspections have to get done on a regular basis. He didn't seem like he had any issue with going forward with this. So if you can see from the proposal I have down how much we inspect, what we inspect every year. So we have 900 businesses, 450 apartment buildings. They all get paid the 7G rate, which is now $33, so it's a base rate of 22, and then time and a half because of FLSA standards. So the proposal is hiring 1 or 2 part-time inspectors, civilian inspectors, to come in on the days that either there's one inspector or no inspector signed up for that shift. Base pay would be $22, the same that we pay our current inspectors minus the FLSA standards. And then it's actually a cost saving because we do bill for fire inspections. Not that I'm using it as a crutch for that, but again, we do bill, so it's the same amount of money whether we're sending our firefighters out or we're sending inspectors, but we have to get them done. Come August is our apartment inspections that are also going on at the same time. And again, those are a must because we also go out with the building department at the same time. The next couple pages after that are the last 3 months of scheduling that the inspectors, again, it's voluntary. We can't force them to work. So you can see where some of the names are scratched off because nobody came in that day. They were probably working overtime or had other commitments, whatever the case might be. So the proposal is to hire 1 or 2 up to 15 hours a week to fill in the spots that the firefighters aren't coming in. And again, on days when there's either one inspector or no inspectors going out.
So the question that I have is then, if it's 1 to 2, and you mentioned 1,300 inspections need to be conducted, is there a time frame?
We stop by December 1st.
Okay.
And we reset for the next year.
So it'll be a full year part-time commitment, or is it like a 3 or 6? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Continuous. It's continuous, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Chief, I'd like to sit down with the, out of respect for the fire union, I'd like to sit down with them and have this discussion, because, not too long ago, you found the need to send out 2 firemen on shift, and there was pushback because of an agreement with the union and stuff then, too. So I don't wish to have that repeated.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
And even to get 1 or 2 people that want to do inspections, this is so sporadic. I don't know, like, who's sitting by the phone waiting to get that call. In other words, I'd like to think you don't have the same problem again.
Right. I mean, they'd have to schedule. They'd see what the schedule is every month, so they'd be able to plan their time after the schedule comes out. So usually what happens every month by the 15th is the inspectors are supposed to submit for their days, And then about a week around the 20th is when the schedule is put out for the month. So they'll know 10 days before the month begins who's signed up and who's not. And if something becomes open because of overtime or whatever, that could go out to them and say, hey, there's an open day if you want to fill that spot.
Chief, you want to, just so the trustees know, I'm sorry, I should probably say at least trustee Parada at least, because I know he's newer to the board, but why, again, just so they understand, why do they not do this on shift?
Because they have to go on calls, and they're in the middle of the building, they go on an inspection. Now they're not available as a crew. And then if they do go out on a call, when do they come back to finish the inspections? So at one time, when our call volume was less than 2,000, they used to send the inspectors out on shift. For a couple years, they actually covered the inspectors with overtime while they went out, because they only had 3 inspectors at the time. So a couple times that they would send them out, they'd cover them with overtime. Other years, they'd send them out, and they were out for the day, but we didn't have the call volume like we have now. So, like I said, that was in the days that we had less than 2,000 calls, and that was probably 17, 20 years ago when that happened. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. Trustees, any other questions? No? All right. Yeah, Chief, we'll set up something with the union. I'd like to sit down and talk with them.
Yep,
Okay,
no problem.
Thank you. Just want to make sure, because we did, whatever, we signed off on an agreement recently and stuff then too, so make sure we don't cross that same path.
If you want to make, set up a meeting with their union president?
Yeah.
With you? Okay.
Well, I might even have the attorney sit in with us yet too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you have, Chief? You had-
Last one's for closed session, so
That's
we'll
right.
save
Okay.
that for last.
Right, okay, thank you. Police and Traffic Safety Committee?
That would be trustee Parada.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I have a request to promote Officer James, please forgive me here. Tisco, to rank of sergeant. Officer Tisco will replace retired Sergeant Chad Resney. Second, we want to thank Impel Union, who donated a trade show display kit that included a custom Alsip Police Department backdrop, tablecloth, and podium. The products will be used at various community and recruiting events. Is there anything else you would like to add?
We're looking forward to use it. We use it a lot at job fairs, so it's going to come in handy. It's very nice. It gives us a little more space than what we had. And currently, we just swore in 4 people last Thursday. They're going through recruit training right now this week with me, and they'll be starting the Monday at 8 o'clock. They'll be at the academy for the next 22 weeks.
Chief, which academy are they going to? Anyway?
Chicago.
Chicago? Good, okay. And then certainly Officer Jim Tisco's a great guy. How long has he been with the department?
Jim came on with me, so he's in his 23 years. He's starting his 24th year.
That's great. Okay. How's he feeling? You okay and everything?
Doing pretty good. Pretty
Good.
good. Like I said, before his injury, he was here, that was his 22nd year. He only missed 2 days of work in 22 years.
Wow.
Wow.
So he's a very dedicated employee. He's a great police officer. He's going to be a good
Awesome.
sergeant.
Good. No, I look forward to working with him. He's a great guy. And we, trustees, we swore in 4 police officers last Thursday? Or-
Yes, sir.
Nice group that we had out and everything.
Awful young.
Too, yeah. I heard everybody passed the power test over.
Everyone did good. 3 of the 4 are younger than my kids. Crazy.
Yeah. No, it seemed like a real good group that came out and stuff then too. And we're still looking to hire maybe 3 more folks.
We're still 3 officers down, yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chief. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Public Work and Boat Launch Committee?
We have the April 2023 monthly activity report for approval next week, and that's it, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Sewer and Water, Trustee Nava Esparza?
I have no report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You know what, Trustee, and if you would, please, I'll put it on email tomorrow because I'll share the pictures that you just did me, but if you,
Okay.
I'll communicate some with the committee tomorrow and certainly chime in with your thoughts on that then too.
Okay.
What do I have next? Building and Health, trustee Prada.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a presentation of the Building Department April 2023 monthly activity report. Second, I have a presentation of the Health Department April 2023 monthly activity report. And in next week's meeting, I'll have a breakdown of both of those reports. And that's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Next, Human Resource and Insurance Committee. Trustee Prada, are you again?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's
where
the
were
only
we
one
here?
here on Human Resources.
Human Resources. Sorry, here we go. The HR manager is advertising a help wanted ad that was approved by the board to fill a vacant position as a full-time finance associate. The ad is available on the village website, Facebook, and Indeed. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, we, I think he said he got something like I didn't say this earlier, I'm sorry, I was sharing here. We got something like 16 applications, and they're weeding through those, and they're qualifying right now, and he's asking the finance contractors to help them out with that, too. As well as myself, but, it's like...
I don't know that I want to be paying contractor rate, though, to be reviewing resumes.
No, you folks already established a rate, and that's where we're at with that.
No, I'm saying paying the hourly rate for the contractors, for them to be reviewing resumes.
We want to at least just get an opinion. This is like, we've already qualified. He's trying to show him what he's looking at and stuff yet, too, so. Village Properties, trustee McLaughlin?
And I have no official report this evening, Mayor. However, we will have the April activity report included in the packet for approval next week. And for those that have not headed east on 119th or 123rd Street, the new signs are up at the complexes, and they look great.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. No, they look very, very, very nice. I saw the stone one up about a week ago on those, and they look good. Ordinance and legislation, trustee Prada.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Planning and zoning licenses, we still had number 1 on there.
Yes, number 1 is a presentation of a list of licenses dated April 24th, 2023 through May 5th of 2023. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And then, did anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications they want to share?
I do, Mayor. I attended the Worth Township Community Expo last week. It was well attended. They had about 50 vendors, and hopefully the village of Alsip can participate at the next expo. I think they had some elected officials there. They had vendor tables, and then there was other nonprofits and also other vendors. So I think it'd be nice to have a presence there. So I did let the Worth Township staff members know to just let us let us know.
They didn't invite us, so and we certainly would have took them up on an invite if we were invited. So hopefully somebody didn't imply that we were, because that didn't happen.
No, they didn't imply that at all. I wasn't sure about their registration process, because the only way that I found out about it was on their Worth Township Facebook page.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm not sure how they do recruitment and so forth.
Yeah, no, we jump on those things all the time, and we actually, with job fairs, you name it, and stuff then too, so, no, thank you.
Yeah, and they did mention that the Alsip Police Department was there, I think the week prior, providing an overview about public safety or safety tips, and that they appreciated it. And I think that some of the banners were up that they mentioned.
I know we've been doing more security assessments. We just did one to the Village Hall here just recently and stuff yet then too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Any unfinished business? Any new business? I need to ask that we adjourn then to a closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2, Chapter 1. Can I get a motion and a second to do that?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call number 2 to adjourn to closed session. Trustee Dalzell is absent. Trustee Juarez Mendoza is absent. Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy is absent. Trustee Navas-Garza?
Yes.
Trustee Peretta?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn to closed session.
Thank you. The time now is 8:29 p.m., so we'll adjourn to this closed session. Thank you for joining us this evening.